Hi, in the previous video we have talked about how to work with meta tags in Dash pages, correct? Now in this video we will talk about how to use variable paths in with Dash pages. So basically, if you are from web development background, so you already would have known what is variable paths and what is query strings, right? So both are supported by Dash pages. Now in this video we will try to walk through the variable paths concept. Probably in later videos we will also see the query string stuff as well whenever it's needed over there, right? So as you can see over here, this is how the variable path works, right? So like if you see in the URL, you will be having a variable string. Let's say if you see like in the after reports, they're giving like either 10 or 5, and according to that particular report ID would have been generated over here, right? So this is the concept of variable paths. That means in your URL, some portion of the URL will be a variable coming from a value from a variable over there. So that is what we will try to achieve it today. Now to achieve variable path using the Dash pages, so what you need to do first is in your register page, you cannot use the path for variable paths. You need to use the path underscore template. So this particular basically parameter over there. Okay, so what we will do today is, if you are following this video, so we are basically working on our Plotly deep learning app, correct? So there we have a page called model showcase. So here basically we are targeting like all the different models we will be discussing with, we'll be displaying in this page over here, right? So instead of displaying all the models in a page, what you can do is we can basically create separate pages for models, right? Now one way to achieve this one will be like create separate Python files for your model, right? But that is not a good approach, right? So let's say if we have 50 models, so you have to create 50 Python files for that, right? So instead of that, we can use the variable path there, right? So we can have a single Python file. We can just pass the model name or model ID in that as a variable in our Python file, and based on that model ID we will be displaying corresponding model inputs over there. Okay, so let's say like this is the ResNet 50 model we discussed initially, right? And probably we will discuss after this one the MNIST model as well, right? So let's create pages for these two models for now, just to understand the variable path concept. So for that, what I'll do first is we will go to our showcase.py, correct? Now in the path, as I said, you cannot use path now because this is a variable path now, right? So instead of that, we will be using path underscore template here. So path underscore template. Now for now, I'll just close my app over here because it will not deploy the changes instantly because we'll be doing a lot of changes over there. Now here basically we will be having another slash, and here we will give the model ID. So let's say the variable name is model underscore ID here. Okay, so the variable name you have to provide within this angle brackets here, that you have to make sure. This is the first change we have to do. Now the second change we have to do is on the layout. So if you have the layout, so as you remember, like when we initially discussed the Dash pages, the layout can be a variable as well as it can be a function, right? A function called layout, which will basically return that layout over there. So whenever you will be using this one, like the variable paths, you have to make sure like your layout is basically a function, so that you can pass this particular variable to your function, and based on that variable values, you can basically display the corresponding pages over there, right? So first thing we will do is we will make this guy as a function here, right? So what I'll do is I'll first do Control Z. I will copy this guy here. Okay, I will copy this guy, then I will comment out this guy. So we will create a function called layout. Okay, now inside that function I will pass the model ID over here, right? Now inside that function I will be having the layout over here, right? So I'll just create for now a variable called showcase page layout. Okay, and I will just keep these values whatever we have it before over there, just to start with, and we will return this guy over here for now. Okay, so return the showcase page layout, correct? So this will be my structure of the layout. Now we have to handle this model ID, we will see that one. Now as I have said, like we will be having two models, right? One is for the ResNet 50, another is for the MNIST, right? And as well as what we will try to do is, if we go back to the model showcase page, right? So by default, like if I just go to showcase/models, so it will have the link for each and every model in our page as well. Okay, so that path variable name could be models as well. So let's do that. So this is the one which is for the ResNet 50, right? So by default it was there. So what I'll do is we will check if model underscore ID. Now you need to remember, like this one will be passed as a string only. Okay, so if you are passing some kind of numeric values, it will be always be string, so you have to handle it properly. Okay, for us it will be a string only, so it's not a problem. And I will say ResNet 50. So if my model is ResNet 50, that means after showcase, if I just type this one over here, okay, it should display this page over here. And okay, so this is fine. So let us go one by one and see what's going on over here. So if you want to run app.py, so let's see how this change has been impacting our application now. So there is at least no error over here. Let it load this one. Okay, it has loaded this one. Now if I just go to showcase page, because okay, it gives you this error because we have not provided any value, a default value to the model ID over here, right? So let's provide a default value to the model ID. Let's say none over here. Okay, and also we have to give the default value of this variable as well, so that at least we can test it for now. Okay, I'll just give this blank over here. So if we just check now, deploy the most recent deployed one. So if you see it over here, like for showcase page, it is showing me 404, because anyway we do not have any page with the showcase now, right? So we have a page after showcase. We need to have something like a model ID over here, right? Which we already defined for ResNet 50. So if I just go to showcase slash ResNet 50 over here, it will show me that ResNet 50 models over here, right? The details, whatever we have created for this particular model in that initial video over here. Okay, so this is working fine. Now if you see another two things, like it is basically complaining about these two IDs, because there is one callback over here which is basically doing that particular image prediction stuff over there, right? So this callback is looking for these two divs, which is it is not able to find it out, right? So we can easily fix that using that suppress callback exception in our app.py, so that we can add it over here. So we can just write suppress callback exception equals to true. So once it is deployed, and probably like if we can refresh it, it will be gone over there. Okay, so one page like the ResNet model, we have basically implemented it over there, right? Again, like we do not want to have the 404 page whenever we are going to the model showcase page, right? So as I have discussed over there, we will have a entry called models over here, which will basically hold the link for each and every model there, right? So let us implement that one as well. So in our showcase.py, what I will do is I will say if my model underscore ID equals to models, okay, equals to models, then I will have an entry, so I'll just copy this guy over here. This guy, we will make necessary changes to this guy only. Okay, so we will have entry for all the models over here, right? So I will just remove the unnecessary code from here. We'll have our navigation page, we'll have a break, then from here till here we do not need them, correct? So what we basically need is, we need 3 links for our ResNet model, MNIST model, right? So currently we are having only those 2 models created. So what I'll do is, we will use dcc dot link over here, correct? And the children will be our name, let's say ResNet 50 here, and the href will be the model, right? So for ResNet 50, not the model, the link over here, right? The link will be showcase/ResNet 50, right? And we will be creating another model called MNIST. So let's do that one here as well. So we'll say comma, another line break, and then we will have another link for our MNIST model as well. So for MNIST model, anyway, we will not have any details for now. So we will keep some dummy data over here. So what I'll do is double equals to, okay, this should be double equals to here, correct? So what I'll do is, for MNIST also, I'll just create a dummy page for now. Okay, so I'll say if my model ID, else if, now we can use else if over here, and then we can use else over here, so that, or we can use else if over here as well, else if over here. Okay, so because anyway one of this will be there, right, in our browser, so that's fine. So this will be our MNIST over here. Okay, so MNIST, now our navigation bar will be there will be a line break, and I will remove the one which is required for ResNet 50, so that I will remove, and I will just like keep an h3 over here, something like this is MNIST model page, and I will say work in progress. We will fill this up later stage. Okay, work in progress here. Okay, so this will also create the page for our MNIST model, and also it will create the links for these 2 models in our models page as well, like showcase models page. But one thing we have to make sure is, in our, because by default what I want to do is, if I just go to the showcase page, let's say, because from the, if I just go back to our home page, okay, I think I have to run this app here, app.py, and if we go to our home page, okay, now if I just click on the model showcase page, so it needs to by default go to showcase.models link over there, not the showcase link, right? So that code we have in our navigation.py. So let's see that in our navigation.py. So wherever we are going to showcase, right, so I will just have the showcase/models, right? This will make sure like we will never go to the showcase page over here, right? So once we have that, so let's see. So if I just go to our home page again, right, if I just click on this model showcase, it is the, if you see, like, because of the change in the navigation.py, it is going to that showcase/models page, right? And over there we have 2 links. So I think I have mistakenly given the link for ResNet 50, the link name, it should be MNIST over here, right? So that's why it was showing both as ResNet 50. Now it should be fine. So if I just click on ResNet 50, it will go to the ResNet 50 model. details page. If I just go to the MNIST, it will go to the MNIST page over here, which is work in progress. Anyway, we will fill this up in the latter stage of the of this playlist over here, right? So this is how you basically use the variable paths in Plotly Dash. Okay, now the similar stuff can be implemented with query string as well. Okay, which we may see in the latter stage as well. But generally, the thumb rule is like if you want to use both variable paths and query string, variable paths you should be using it basically to, if you have the specific value like which is always same and you want to do it in your URL, okay, so that you can use it using variable paths. Probably I'll give an example, like let's say if you want to display something for display records for a particular employee ID, you can implement with variable paths. And let's say if you have some scenario where you need to display a report which is having, let's say, report size, let's say 10 rows or 20 rows for a particular employee or list of employees, okay, so that you can implement using query string over there. That will be more fruitful over there, because your number of report pages as well as the number of employees are also getting changed over there, right? So that is a good scenario to implement that using query string. So probably in future we will do that stuff using the query string in our app as well, okay? But for now, for the model showcase page, I think this is fine, because for each and every model this particular value will be fixed over there, right? So that's why I have implemented it using the variable paths over here, okay? So hopefully this video was helpful. See you in the next video.